Okay, so let's continue with our next coding exercise series. So open the leetcode.com and go to the problems tab. And if you scroll down and search the question number 36. So 36 is valid Sudoku. It's come under the medium category. So click on it. So let's read the question. Determine if a 9 cross 9 Sudoku board is valid. So we need to determine whether this Sudoku is valid or not. So we have the 9 cross 9 Sudoku. So 9 rows and 9 columns. Only the filled cells needs to be validated according to the following rules. So basically, generally what happen when we have the question, can you check whether the Sudoku board is valid or not? So most of the time we got the all the cells filled. Uh, but in this question, this is like little bit simple. So in this question, what they are given is they have not given like a few cells. So few cells are like empty. So we need to figure it out whether five is at correct place or not, whether three is at correct place or not. All right. So and according to the following rules, and hopefully like if even if we don't read these rules, we know like what is valid Sudoku and what is not a valid Sudoku. So valid Sudoku means like each row must contain the digit 1 to 9 without repetition. So basically each row, so these are the row and these are the columns. So each row should contain unique elements. So 5 can't be repeated in the first row, 3 cannot be repeated, 7 cannot repeated. So first row is valid. Correct. Similarly, each column must contain the digit 1 to 9 without repetition. So from 5 to like if we check first column, so 5 should not be repeated, 6 should not be repeated, 8 should not be repeated, 4 should not be repeated, 7 should not be repeated. So first column is also valid. Along with that, each of the 9 3 cross 3 sub box. So the whole box is 9 by 9. But if we consider sub box of 3 cross 3, this small box, that should also valid. So in this box as well, the digit should not be repeated. So 5 is not repeated, 3 is not repeated, 6 is not repeated, 9 is not repeated, 8 is not repeated. So we have checked. So the same we need to check for all the cells. All right. Then we have to return true or false only. So if you see the function definition, we have to some list of list is given basically, and we have to check whether the particular we have to return the true or false basically. All right. So how we are going to do that? So first thing is that like the question is divided into three checks. First check is row. We have to check if we pick 5, then we have to check whether the 5 is present in like in any other cell or not in the row. The other check is column, right? And the third check is this box. So the problem statement will divide into three sub problems, right? Okay. So uh, now let's okay. And one more thing, if you have to check whether the 5 is being repeated or not. So let's suppose if you are scanning the row, the 5 come, you have to store somewhere, all right? So because as soon as you move to 3, how you are going to know whether the 5 is being whether 3 is already being there or not, all right? So one thing is either you will even for the first like a row, you run like nested loops, which is like not a like correct approach, all right? And time complexity will be very much high. So the other approach is, so if we have 5, so we can store 5 to some place, then 3, then we can check whether the 3 is already in that place or not. Then blank, then blank. If there is a blank, then we can ignore that. All right. And then 7, then we can check in the store place like whether that 7 is exist or not. If it exists, so it means this row is contains a duplicate element and the whole Sudoku is invalid. We can return the false. And basically this space is a dot. So if you see, this space is a dot. So they are going to give the input in such a way. So the test cases are designed in such a way. So the space is not basically a space, the space is a dot. All right. So what we have to do, we going to know when we scan the row, we have to store the row element. When we scan the column, we have to store the column element. When we scan the box, we are going to scan the box elements. All right, so let's jump into the whiteboard. So let's suppose this is the Sudoku. The same example I just draw it here. So what I have to do is, so let's suppose if the 5. So I know 5 is in the 0 row. 5 is in the 0 row. So what I can do is I can make three dictionaries. One is for rows, one is for columns, one is for the box. So box means this blue box, then this is like a yellow, then green, then like dark blue, then pink, and this kind of like say like basically like nine boxes. Okay, so 0 to 9 and 0 to 9, 0 to 9 columns. Okay, so when I am in the first row, what I can do is, okay, so this is the zero row, or you can say first row. So zero row. So 5 is in the zero row. I can store. So what is dictionary? Dictionary is just a key and a value pair. So key will be zero. So key will be my row, and value will be my 5. And this will be I will take as a set, because we know we want to know the unique elements. And in the Python, which data structure contains the unique element, that is set. So what we can do is we can store all the elements in the, so for the zero row. So whatever all the elements in the zeroth index, we are going to store here. So basically here we are going to store 5. So like we are scanning. So we are scanning. So 1 second. Sorry. Okay, fine. So we are scanning. So we are on the first row. So 5 is there. We are going. So 5 is on the zero. So the key is zero. We store 5. Okay. Then 3. We check whether 3 is already there or not. So 3 is not there. Then we are going to store 3. Okay. Then dot. Then dot. We are going to skip. Then 7. 7 is in the zero row. It's 7 is already there. No, 7 is not there. So we are going to store 7. Then dot 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 dot. So done. Then the second row, 6. 6 in the uh, so 6 is in the first. All right. So first row, second row. So second is basically like the index one. Then dot 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 dot. Then 1. Then 9. Then 5. So we are going to like do this thing. Along with that, like how we are going to run nested for loop. Like in the Python or in any coding language, the the loop. 1 second. Let me show you. So the loop runs like this. So it is going to scan this, then this, then this, then this. So line by line is going to be scanned, right? So we know as soon as we scan 5, the first row, for the rows we already filled, for the rows we already filled, but what about the column? Because 5 is also the part of the first column, 3 is also part of the second column, 7 is also part of the this like fifth column. So we, as soon as we scan the row, first row, we have to store in the row as well. We have to store in the column as well. Along with that, we have to store in this box as well. This box means like zero box. So whatever the element index is there or not. Okay. So let's code that. Let's try the coding parallelly. So we know, because we have to scan, and we know we have to store these elements somewhere, right? So let's first take these things where we have to store. Okay. So we have to store the rows, and the rows will be a dictionary. And how much like keys? So 0 to 9. So for I in range of 9, 0 to 9. And what is the key? Key is the I. And what is the value? Value is my set. So value is my set. Okay, so value is my set. So it will be set. What about the column? So same for the columns. So columns, so I can basically copy paste. So instead of I, we can do the J, or also you can use the I as well. That doesn't matter. So J. Similarly for the box or boxes or box. Let it be box. Okay. Then K, and then set for K in range of 9. Okay. So for all the rows, we are going to store in the rows. For all the columns, we are going to store in the columns. So basically, row is a dictionary, and key is zeroth row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row. So that is the key, and the values are all the elements in the particular row. Similarly for the column, similarly for the box. So this first box, this second box, this third box, the fourth box, fifth, sixth, seven, and eight. So we have took that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we don't need, if we start from 0, so it looks wrong. So if we start from 0, we don't need 9. We don't need 9. So 0 to 8, 0 to 8 is 9. So we don't need 9. So we don't need 9. Okay. So that is done. Okay, what next? Now we need to run the nested for loop, because I told you how the in any coding language, how the if we have to scan any matrix, how we have to scan. So for I in range of 9, or j in range of 9, that's it. All right, in this way only we are going to scan. So nothing is much complicated till now. Okay, but next, so we have to get the first element first, because so earlier, as soon as the loop enters, so I is 0, j is 0. All right, so 0 0, then I is still 0, j is 1. So I is 0, j is 1. So that's why I said in the coding, so first this row is going to be scanned, then this row is going to be scanned, then this row is going to be scanned. So similarly, like I is 0, then j is 0, then j is 1. So I will remain 0 for the first index. So we are going to scan this. Okay, so first we will get the element. First we get the element. Okay, what is the element? So element. So how we are going to get the element? What is this? This is a board. This is a board. So board of which index? 0 0. So what is 0? I and j. Okay, we get the element. Now we have to check whether the element is dot, because this could be dot as well. Like, so this could be dot as well. This could be dot as well. So if this is a dot, we don't need to do anything. We don't need to store anything. We will just continue. So if element equal to dot, what we are going to do? Continue the loop. Just continue the loop. Right? Okay. Now what next? We get the element. So now we have the 5. We need to check where we need to check 5. So if we have to check like the valid Sudoku, we have to check this 5 in the row as well, in the column as well, in the box as well. Okay, so check whether element exists in row. Okay, and I know all my rows store here, all my rows store here, all my columns store here, and all my boxes store here. So I have the first element 5. So where I am going to check for the row. So whether check whether element exists in row or not. So if element in I need to check in rows. I need to check in rows. But which key? Which key? That is I. Because I is 0. I need to check. Okay. If it exists, because I am checking 5, and if 5 already exists, then we will straightforward return the false. We are going to straightforward return the false. But if doesn't exist, because in the first condition it doesn't exist, but if it doesn't exist, then we are going to store. So where we are going to store? In the dictionary, in the key, with the value of not 5, with the value of that particular element. So note this thing. So row of I dot add, because row of I is a set. So how we are going to, because the set don't support the indexing, so we need to use the add operator, add element. Okay, so we already check 5 in the row. Now we have to check 5 in the column. So check whether element exists in column. So how we are going to check? We know all my columns store here, right? So if element in calls of j, because uh, column, like we are like traversing the column only, because when we are is 3, so we don't need to take I, because if we take I it's 0, but j is on the 3 is on the first column. All right, so that's why we have to take j. If calls of I, if element in calls of j, then we have to return false, because if element already exists, it should not exist, right? Because if element already exists, then it's not a valid Sudoku. Then if doesn't exist, that's was if we have to check already 5. If this doesn't exist, so let me 1 second, just a second. So let me, so till now, Till now what we did is, so why, what happened? 1 second. Okay, so here what we are going to store is, we are going to store 5, and here as well I am unable to delete. Okay, so 5 we stored in 0th index, 5 we stored in the this index. But we now, for the row we already checked, for the column we already checked, now we have to check in the box as well. Okay, because once that like element gone na in the loop, we can't come back, because if we reach here, can you come back 5? No, na. So you can't come back to 5. So because if we pick first element, then check in each and every condition, check in row, check in column, check in box. So we already checked in row, we already checked in column, now we have to check in box. Check whether element exists in box. So which box? This box, this blue box. All right. Okay. How we have to go to check? If element in box, if element in box. Now which index? So here is the tricky part. So which index? So for the time being, just put index. We are going to define index. So just for the time being, we are going to put if element exists in the box, because there are total 8 boxes or 9 boxes. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But can I take here I? Can I take here j? Because if I take I is a row only. I is a row only. So if I take I, then for the fifth, it is going to show in the first box. For the seventh as well, it is going to show in the first box, which is wrong, because I am taking I is 0. Even though 7 should be on the second box, so I can't take I. If I take j, that is also wrong, because if I take j, let's suppose 5. 5 is in the first column, then it should be in the like zeroth or like box. Okay, which is fine. If I take 3, 3 is in the column 1. So column 1 means the first box, this box. All right. So let me give the numbering as well. So 1 second. So this is box 0. This is box 1. This is box 2. This is box 3. This is box, these are the box 4. This is box 5. This is box 6. This is box 7. This is box 8. Okay. So as soon as come to 6, so or we come to 3, so 3 is in the column 2. So if I give j here, then 2 means like basically like we are starting from the 0th index. So 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 as per our logic, it should store in this box as well, right? In this box, but which is wrong. 3 should be stored in the part of the first box. So I can't take I can't take j, I can't take j. So I need to calculate index based upon some formula. So that's why for the time being, just put index here. So if element in box, so if element in box of particular index, whether in the first box, second box, third box, fourth box, that is the fine. So that is index. Then we have to return false. Else what we have to do? Box of index dot add element. Otherwise, we need to add the particular element in the particular box. All right, so box is dictionary and in the particular key. And otherwise, we are going to return true. So that's it. Now the only thing left is what is index? What is index? What is index? So what is, because this index is not defined and we can't take I here, we can't take j here, because if I take I and j here, our code becomes wrong. Only few of the test cases might going to pass, otherwise everything going to be wrong. So what could be the index? Also, only this is the tricky part. That's why this problem come under the medium category. Otherwise, this problem is easy category. All right. So check whether the element exists in our box or not. Okay. So now what could be the logic? So if you see, these are the part of 3 3. So three, like 3 columns, 3 rows, 3 column, 3 rows, 3 column, 3 rows. So these are the part of 3 3. Now first is the 0 0, because here we have the index only. We can't take the number. We have to take the index, like whether 0 0 is part of the first box or not, whether 0 1 is part of the first box or not. So whether 2 is part of the first box or not. Right. So first, what we have to do is we have the 1 second. We have the I. So I is 0. We have the j is 0. I am talking about the first index, that is 5. Then in which box is it is going to become? How we are going to check? So what we have to do, we are going to divide by 3, and we are going to divide j by 3. All right. So if I divide by 3, because we know we have to take three differences, three differences. All right. So we are going to divide by 3. So for the first row, I is 0. 0 divided by 3, 0. Okay. J is also column 1. 0 divided by 3, 0. So 0 plus 0, 0. So it means 5 is going to store in the box 0. So 5 is going to store in the box 0. Okay, now come to the 3. So 3 is, when we come to the 3, I is 0, but J is 1. J is 1. So 0 divided by 3, 0. 1 divided by 3, still 0. So 3 is also going to be stored in the box 0. Perfectly fine. All right. Now dot, we can skip that. Now 7. Now 7 is in the row 0, I 0, but what is the j? J is, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's on the 4. So 0 divided by 3, 0, but 4 divided by 3 is equal to 1. So it's in the box 1. It's in the box 1. So which is perfectly fine. So it's in the, so this is the box 1. All right. So it is in the box 1, which is perfectly fine. Now let's see other. So now dot, we can skip. Now 6. Now 6. So for 6, row is 1. Row is 1. J is 0, because the column 0. So 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3, 0. 0 divided by 3, 0. So it's part of the 0 box, which is fine. Then dot fine. Then 1. Then we are going to take 1. So 1 is in the row, sorry, one is in the row 1. All right. And j is, what is j is 0. J is like 0, 1, 2, 3, third column, third. So 0, 1 divided by 3, 0. 3 divided by 3, 1. So it's part of the first column. So it looks, this seems, from our logic it looks correct, but the problem will come, the problem is going to start here. So let's pause for 8. So for the first 3 boxes, this code looks perfectly okay, but as soon as come to 8, so let's take the 8. So 8 is in which row? 8 is in which row? 8 is in 0, 1, 2, 3. 8 is in 3 row. And what is j? J is 0, because it is the 0 column. Okay, now as per this logic, 8 should reside in which box? So 3 divided by 3, 1. 0 divided by 3, 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. So it should be reside in this box as per this logic, but which is wrong. It is residing in this box, 3 box. So this looks wrong. All right. So it means there is this code doesn't going to work, right? So what we have to do, we have to just multiply by 3 here. We have to just multiply by 3 here. Now if we are going to check 8, 8 is in the I3. So 3 divided by 3, 1. 1 divided by 3, 3. And 0 divided by 3, 0. 3 plus 0, 3. Now it is going to be reside in the box 3. So let's check any other element. Let's check 6. So 6 in the which row? 6 in the which row? So 6 in the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth row. And which column? Which column? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 column. Okay, now divide. 5 divided by 3, 1. 1 multiplied by 3, 3. 3. Okay. Now 8. 8 divided by 3, 2. So 3 plus 2. So what was that? I forgot. 1 second. Uh, so 5 divided by 3. 5 divided by 3, 1. 1 multiplied by 3, 3. Plus. Now 8 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3 is 2. So total 5. So yes, so 6 is in the fifth block, so which is correct, right? So this code seems correct. So we need to get the index in this way. We can get the index in this way. So just come here, we share I divided by 3, multiply by 3, plus j divided by 3. That's it. And we are going to get the correct index. So let's try to run it. So our sample case has been accepted. So let's try to submit it. Okay, so it looks 452 test cases out of 507 has been passed. So there could be some bug in the code. Let's try to figure it out. What was the bug? So for this, it is given true and we are getting false. What could be the bug? We need to figure it out. So we took the rows, we took the columns, we took the boxes. We took the 8 rows, we took the nine rows, 9 columns, 9 boxes. We are taking the element. If the element is dot, then continue, and then we are checking the row. Then we are storing in the particular row. Oh, we forget to add here columns. So columns of j dot add of element. We forget to add the particular element in the column. So let's try to run it. So sample KCB has been accepted. So let's try to submit. So now our solution has been accepted and we beat 82% of the runtime and 78% of the memory. So this is, you can say, a little bit tricky only at this point. Only at this point. Otherwise, question is very easy. Like question says we have to check the like even let's suppose if we don't know the code, but we know we have to do 5. Okay, 5 just check in each row, 5 just check in each column, all right, and 5 check in the box. And how we are going to check? Because if I go to the next row or next column, then how we are going to know like whether this element is repeated or not? So I need to store somewhere, and I need unique element, so I need set. So I need set somewhere, right? So what I can do is, okay, so this is the first row. I can take some kind of a dictionary. Okay, I am going to store all the elements in like a zeroth row or first row or the second row. If the zeroth index is like a little bit complicated, then what you can do is you can start from the 1 to 10. You can start from the 1 as well, so 1 to 10 as well. Then maybe like it will be easy for you. So 1 to 10. If the zero index is confusing, because like first box, second box, third box, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight, nine, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, then it could be easy for you, right? But either we took 0 or either we take 1, the logic is going to be remain same. So what we are going to do is we are going to take some spaces. It's you can say it's a constant space only because it's just in 999 only. And then we are going to check whether this element exists in row, this element exists in column, this element exists in box. If it exists, return false. If it doesn't exist, then store at the correct position. Okay, 5 is in the 0, store it. 5 is in the column 0, store it. 5 is in the box 1, store it. So that's it. That's the end of the video. And thank you. You can also try this question.